Right. Hi, Cancerians. This is the general overview for Cancer for May 2019. My apologies, guys, that I'm a little bit behind this month. I'm going to get started on next month early, so I'm not running behind. So I'm just going to pull a quick oracle for you guys for general overview. The energy is gaining momentum. So how this is coming in is what I'm seeing for you guys is whatever it is that you're putting your energy into, whatever it is that you're putting your time into, if this is work for manifesting, if this is setting goals, if this is trying to achieve progress in whatever area, whatever it is that you're chipping away at, whatever it is that you're working towards, the energy is gaining momentum. So I feel that whatever it is that you're working towards, it's starting to get going, it's starting to gain movement, and it's starting to get set in motion for what it is that you're trying to achieve here. Let's see what comes through for you guys for the month. We're just going to pull 10 cards for Cancer. Just going to have a quick look here for a second. I just want to make sure this is working for you guys because I've just had something pop up. It's making me think it ain't. So far, so good. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Alright, let's get stuck in for you guys. What messages do we have for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the month of May 2019? Alright, we're good to go. Alright, let's have a quick look over and just get stuck in when we get what we get. Okay, so there's a need here for how this is coming in. It's like you need the. I'm hearing eye on the prize, eye on the prize, eye on the prize. Whatever it is that you're working towards, there's a reminder here to stay focused on that. Don't let your ego, don't let greed, don't let your desire for what it is that you're chipping away at, what it is that you're working towards, don't let that fog you with don't let that fog you and cause you to lose sight of the bigger picture. Appreciate that when you get to where it is that you want to be with this and when you start to see results, appreciate that the rest will just kind of come along with that. It's just like a domino effect in a sense that, you know, if you're working hard at something to gain from the situation, you know, internal happiness, whatever it is that you want from the situation, appreciate that will come in for you, and that the potential for more physical and material abundance is possibly just a snowfall effect from that. Like that's going to come in as well. But don't lose sight of why it is that you're doing what it is that you're doing in the first place. Don't let greed and desire and financial or material or possessive influences sort of take over why you went into whatever this project is in the first place. There's also a message here that something's going to be revealed to somebody within the month. Let me just see here for a second. Yeah, something's going to be revealed here, but I feel like there's a lot of gossip involved in this situation. I feel that this is a work-related situation. This is somebody doing what they can to better themselves and move themselves forward. And I feel like this might have perhaps even the feedback that you've got from the effort that you've put in might even be being received a little bit nastily. I feel like there's envy from your colleagues in relation to this situation. Perhaps they feel that, or this particular person feels that they should have gained some sort of recognition or feedback for their efforts as well. And they're trying to maybe diminish or undermine the work that you've done. Yeah, the work that you've done here, this definitely relates to a work-related situation. So there's a need to be mindful of those around you. I feel like you're not as naive as perhaps they're trying to make out that you are. Um, but there's just that reminder to pay attention, to be aware, try and stay one step ahead. I don't feel that this is going to necessarily be something that gets you off track, but I do feel like it's something that you're going to have to be mindful and aware of. Keep your enemies close. That kind of a, what is that saying? Friends close, your enemies closer, that kind of a situation there. Because you don't want to get bogged down, you don't want to be overwhelmed. I feel like for a lot of you, there's a lot going on in the month of May. I feel like it's a little bit like maybe you're taking on more, you've bitten off more than you can chew, you're stretching yourself a little bit too thin. Yeah, and there's a need. Okay, this is relating to this one here again. There's a need for some of you to just be mindful. Just be mindful of your environment. Just be mindful of the people that you keep around you. If there's a need to speak up and defend yourself, then speak up and defend yourself. There's no point sitting back in the shadows and just, being battered down and taking on and not confronting the crap that's going on around you when it's directly affecting you. There's a need to uh, there's times to ignore and there's times to engage, and I feel like maybe this is a time to ignore, but at the same time be mindful and be aware of the situation. uh, there's also a situation going on here where um, it seems like you're doing all the work, you're making all the effort. um, this might even be a group related situation where there's some need to come together and be a part of something as a group, and you're kind of feeling like you're on the outskirts. You kind of feel like the rest of the people involved in the group aren't involving you, aren't engaging you, and it's got your confidence kind of. You're usually a pretty, I say obnoxious, but I say it with kindness. You're a pretty outgoing person. You're the life of the party. You're sort of the first to sort of get involved. But however, the group dynamic is kind of off, and you're feeling a little bit like you need to be segregated from the situation. You can't sort of step out and be yourself. What I'm hearing is to trust in the fact that you're more than capable. Um, your best asset in terms of being able to read people for who they are and being able to see situations for what they are. So what I'm hearing with this is, if this is how you're feeling, if you're feeling that your confidence is being knocked down because of the actions of a group and a majority of people, then step out in your own truth, step out in your own majority, step out in your own personal assets. You're more than capable of looking at the situation and realizing, all right, this is why they're doing this. They're doing this for this reason. You're sort of somebody that is able to really have perspective of why people are going about things. You can pick the bad eggs. Um, so they want you to remember that, and look at the situation from a normal perspective that you usually would. If this was somebody else dealing with this, how would you go about advising them how to handle the situation? They want you to do this for yourself because you're more than capable of doing that. You already see the situation for what it is. You already see these people involved in this group of, like, gossiping, nasty, sort of just mean girls or mean guys. Mean people, and you're more than capable of being able to go, okay, this is exactly why they're doing it. So use that to your advantage. How can you go about the situation? If you don't want to tackle it head on, you don't have to. But how can you use what you know of the situation to benefit you? You're more than capable. You've done this a million times. Maybe you're just looking at the situation from the wrong perspective. Okay, somebody. This is in relation to a. I'm gonna pin this right down to resonating for somebody that's playing sport, and I feel like there's been a recent accident. This is I'm seeing the knee or the leg. This is some sort of injury that's caused you to have to sit out for a while. Maybe sit out for a lot longer than what you anticipated. I feel like there's news coming in that isn't going to be the best, and you're like, okay, well, now I just can't play anymore. Like, I'm not going to be able to do this big part of my life. I'm just going to have to walk away from. There's a message here to be a bit more open-minded. Don't look at this situation like, I just can't do this anymore because of this setback. They want you to look at this from a new perspective. They want you to realize what your assets are here and maybe go off in a new direction. And I see this working out if you do this. I see you're more capable of in there's more opportunities with this than I think what you realize. I think you're just looking at it from a place of disappointment of, I can't do this anymore. This is a big part of my life that I'm no longer going to be able to um, partake in and be involved with. Sport related, this might not be as narrowly chimed down as to just being relating to sport, but I feel like somebody was involved in something that they love, they have had an injury and they can't do it anymore. um, they want you to look at this situation and realize you can be a part of it, but maybe just not in the same way that you were before, is what I'm seeing here. And it might seem like this is a bit of a tower moment for you. It might seem like, your world is crumbling around you. It might seem like everything that you were putting your energy into is no longer moving in the direction that you once thought it was. It may be the falter, and just your foundations around this whole situation have crumbled because um, your own self, your own body, this injury, whatever the situation is causing you to, you can't physically move in the same direction that you were. So look at the situation from that perspective. Okay, I can't do it like this. What else can I do? What else can I provide? Maybe it's coaching, maybe it's, um, in relation to your injury, maybe it's helping people to realize that there's, life after injury, that you can continue and move forward. Maybe there's definitely something new to be learned from this situation that's going to push you in a new direction, and once you get going, it's going to click in and make sense. I'm losing my voice. Okay, I feel like there's going to be a reconnect for somebody in May. Somebody from your past is going to be resurfacing. I feel like this is a romantic connection, or at least it had the potential to be before whatever caused the separation or the two people to part ways. I feel like whoever this is relating to, this person's going to be popping back up for you. It's going to be providing you with a lot of answers, I want to say. I feel like this, at the time where the connection sort of fell apart, it left you with a lot of questions. And I feel that this person's going to pop up and you're going to be more readily available, and you're going to be more honest with yourself and more honest with them, and you're going to ask them those things that you need. Okay, somebody's thinking about, I want to say moving, but it could just be going from doing one thing to doing another, but it could be a long physical move. It might even just be the want to travel. I feel like there may even be more to it, like somebody's given you a proposition and you're toying with the idea as to whether you should or not. This might even be a job offer, a partnership, the coming together of, you know, two to make something better. I feel that you are going to be spiritually guided with this. There's a need to trust your intuition. Uh, Look at it from multiple perspectives. Maybe do a pros and cons list. Write down the situation. Write down why you think you should, why you think you shouldn't. And go, if there's more for the should and less for the shouldn't, then go with the should. If there's more for the shouldn't and less for the good, then maybe don't. But I feel that whatever this is relating to, if there's an offer coming in for a quick change or a need to make a quick decision in relation to change or a quick decision in relation to travel, look at the opportunities from all perspectives and give yourself a little bit more of a clear understanding of how this might work out. Because I do see that this is going to, however this works out, I do feel that it's going to, whether it is that you go along with this or whatever it is here that's going on in terms of making this decision, in terms of shifting to something new, just this process in itself is going to provide you with a bit of an idea. I feel like it's almost like it gives you like an epiphany moment. Um, and it has you thinking that maybe I'm looking at this from a perspective of maybe seeing this situation as not benefiting me or not putting me in a necessarily in the direction that you want to be going. Let me just see here. It's not really making sense. Okay, maybe that's a little bit more where the concern's coming from. I think that you think that you're looking at the situation as going to maybe provide you with more of a loss than it is going to provide you with more abundance. And that might be what's blocking you from making the decision that needs to be made here, is because you're not looking at it from all perspectives. Like I said, you're not giving this opportunity a real chance. You're sort of just looking at all the reasons that this can go wrong. So if you are looking at the reasons that it can go wrong, they're asking you to look at the reasons why and how and why it may work out as well. Be realistic with your approach to it, because I feel that there's definitely more need for clarity on the situation, but I think you need to realize that like there's more to the situation in terms of bringing you in abundance and bringing you in new ideas and bringing you in a new spark for creativity, then maybe you're giving the opportunity. Maybe you're looking at it like from too narrow perspective, like, oh, if I do this, I have to move away from everyone, or if I do this, I have to walk away from something that I enjoy, or if I do this, I might not make as much money, or if I do this, I might not, what are you going to gain from it? Be more realistic in your approach for how to decide whether or not you want to go forward with this or not. Okay, how this is coming through. Somebody's just had a baby. And the dynamic in the relationship, I feel like the baby came at the wrong time is how you're looking at this. It's like you've decided that you were going to part ways, and then you found out that you were pregnant, and you've come back together for the baby. I feel like you're sort of toying with the idea of, I never wanted to be with this person anyway. This isn't working out. I love my child. I don't love this person. They're not providing. They're not making me feel secure. I feel like I'm doing this all by myself anyway. It just seems like you're toying. There's so many different questions that you're asking. You're sort of, I feel like at the core of it, there's two decisions to make, and it's like stay or go. And you're kind of trying to convince yourself out of and into each one. It's like you make a decision and then you doubt it and then you doubt it and question why you were thinking it even in the first place. It just seems like there's just a bit of a struggle going on. It might even be that the child has sort of made your priorities shift, and you've gone from thinking that this is how you wanted things to be, and now that there's a child involved, this is how you want them to be. It might not be that your partner isn't the right one. It might not be that they're not able to give you what you need, but maybe it's just that your quick change from wanting things to go like this into now wanting them to go like this so quickly, it might just have them sort of a little bit overwhelmed. At the end of the day, there is a new child involved in this situation, and that's a lot of pressure already from the get-go. So maybe needing more from them at the moment might not be what they need as well. Like, I feel like there needs to be more of an honest conversation. It's kind of like the reason that they're so confused with you and with what you want, and while you're confused with them and what they want, is because I don't think that you guys have had an actual real sit down conversation where you've like straight up said, this is what I need from you. What do you need from me? How do you see this working out? What do you and I feel that when you do that, when you do come together and have that conversation, things are going to be put a lot more in perspective, and it's going to stop you both from feeling, and you're both feeling the same way. You both sort of feel lost and confused and like, oh God, do I just run away from this situation because it's not working out at the moment? This is not going to plan the way that we thought it would. The way that we said this was going to go, we're not doing that. We're doing completely different to what we said we were going to do. And that's where a lot of the confusion's coming up. So maybe there's a need to just get back together and have, come back together, have that same sort of deep and honest conversation that you had before this baby was even in the equation. And I do see that will provide you both with the knowledge and understanding that you both need to move forward together, okay? All right, guys, I'm going to leave that there for you. I might take a little bit of a break and then get back on to the rest. So if you are, why can I not say cross-watch today? And you are waiting for the rest of the videos to come up, they will be up soon. And I appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you got something out of it. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for your likes, comments, and subscriptions. Do feel free to reach out. And I hope you have a great month. Thank you.